Y'all give me some feedback on this one here. Right? Because I had a conversation today with a brother, 36 years old, and I found it necessary to explain to this brother that the terms that we use, like black community, national black leader, are manipulations of the corporate media, right? I tried to explain to him that blacks in America have no national status as a people. You know, we don't have a nation. We all cry for one, but we all crying for different shit. So we don't have a nation. I mean, the Moors want to be Moors. The Hebrews want to be Hebrews. You know what I'm saying? Brother Larry's a Mandingo. And then we got Negroes and niggas and African Americans and blacks and colors. And, you know what I'm saying? So we have not come to the point where, as I discussed with Professor Smalls, right, and have stated on numerous occasions, and people always try to tell me that I'm missing the mark, that this has been done, that we've established this, but we have no national identity. Now, people try to tell me, no, yes we do, it's African American, but that's not true. You see? And I'm actually going to take the time out to explain to you why that is not true, so that you can understand and appreciate the subtlety of this argument. And because we're in a system where laws involve subtlety of language, it is extremely important that you understand that we are not African Americans. Okay? Now, someone who migrates to this country from anywhere on the continent of Africa today and becomes a citizen in America today is an African American. Now, understand, I'm not playing games with words. And I'm not telling you that we do not come from the continent of Africa. I'm telling you that in the same sense that you say, oh, well, everyone comes from the continent of Africa. If you're not calling everyone African, but you think you're calling us African because our ancestors were hit in the head and drug off the continent of Africa to this country some centuries ago, right? I just need you to understand and appreciate that not only are we the only ones that you attempt to apply that to, right? But it is done to further the agenda of those who would rule this place. Now, you really have to get that separate and apart does not work for us. It actually works against us. The way that we are scattered throughout this country, the way that it works against us is because we don't have the numbers in any one particular area to dominate the politics, which would allow us to dominate the commerce, which would allow us to control the damn communities. So we don't have control of these communities. We remain, for the most part, in small pockets. I mean, some pockets are large, but they're still small in comparison to the mainstream culture that they have built around us. I'm choosing these words carefully. deliberately. I want you to understand exactly what I'm saying. Built around us. Okay? Now, I know that a lot of you are under the impression that you're free. Right? And I really want to point out to you at this time that I have discussions with people from Caribbean islands like Jamaica and quote unquote African nations like Nigeria and Ghana, Senegal, Gambia, so forth and so on. And they think they're free too. Right? They throw this word independence around at me because they were granted independence. Right? I don't know why they don't grasp the concept that they live in societies that were established, the legal system, the governmental structure, the civil systems, the policing systems were established by foreign invaders. Now, they were granted independence and left in possession of the colony, of the same governmental structures, the same economic structures, the same social structures that the Europeans established. All they did was put a blackface on it. And in so doing, it allows on one level for one to claim independence, but if one is not economically independent, and I'll wait for you to point to me the country that is, the former colony that is independent. I mean, we see France run up into Mali at will, among other places, right? We see the United States bomb the shit out of Africa at will. Now, you would think that with the sizes of the populations of blacks, note, I'm choosing my words carefully. I want you to understand exactly what I'm saying. That is pluralized speech intentionally. I did not say the size of the population of blacks in the United States. I said the sizes of the populations of blacks in the United States, right? You would think that, well, maybe they might consult. You know what I mean? If they think we're Africans, maybe they might consult us before they bomb the shit out of Africa, right? I mean, if we were Africans, right? But since, and I submit, and I will debate this issue, and I don't really do debates, but I will debate this issue. If you think that the quote unquote national identity of blacks in America has a name separate and apart from U.S. citizen of, I mean, just think for a second of the number of groups who will tell you identify themselves by the group that they affiliate with, whether that's the Moors, like my brother Lord Abba, or the Hebrews, right? Or whatever. I mean, Christians even do it, right? The Christians, they get closer to the brainwashed mainstream nonsense than anybody else because, well, truthfully, they were the targets of the goddamn mind fuck. You understand? On the plantation. And y'all know I be realism-ism crazy. Brothers was bullshitting on the plantation. They was not believing that crap. They was bullshitting because they ain't had to work. Know what I'm saying? So now, I don't know why for the life of me, y'all act like human nature changes. A lot of you brothers have been incarcerated. Think of the way that you navigated through the prison system and how you dealt with the overseers in there. Because that'll give you an idea of how our ancestors had to deal with the overseers back then. It's the same shit. It's the same dynamic. It is the same shit. So now, understanding that at the same time, as an aside, during the slavocracy in the South, understanding that you had quote unquote free blacks in the North, juxtaposed with the slavocracy in the South, you still have that duality going on today. You have the quote unquote free blacks, and I'm not going to call these brothers names, but they be pissing me off sometimes, right? Tavis Smiley and Cornel West, how they deliberately use the term free men of color when they're making grievance with the president, Barack Hussein Obama, right? Now, the reason they be pissing me off is because the language that they use is designed to talk to people other than myself. Let me put it to you that way. Just to be polite, right? So now, the thing is, when you look at the real situation here for us, we ain't changing shit. We got the same independence that they got in Africa. Oh, you free. Go ahead, run around. You go ahead. No, I ain't gonna whip you no more. You free. How's that working for you? I mean, immediately after our ancestors set about the business of establishing themselves, we know that they were attacked for that. Reason being, while they were establishing themselves, they weren't establishing a nation. They were trying to settle in. They were trying to find a place for themselves in this system, in this structural system. Now, I'm not going to say they dropped the ball. I'm going to say that evolution brings things about when it's time for those things to be brought about. I'm going to say that. So I'm not going to blame any past generation for the situation. I'm going to say that the situation is what the situation needs to be to move you. The situation is what the situation needs to be in order to move you. Because if the situation wasn't what the situation is, what would you be doing? You'd be in the club, making it rain. You'd be listening to some nonsensical, mind-fucking, supposed rap music. Calling you niggas and calling our women bitches. I mean, if the situation wasn't what the situation is, what would you be focusing on? Because once upon a time, we were focusing on freedom. And then somebody changed the situation and we lost focus.